Welcome everyone, Slothcakes here to talk about the recent open network test of Gundam Breaker 4, where, while limited in content, gave us an impression of what the full game will be. So, was it up to the hype? Is it what people wanted? Was the changes for the better? After 8 years, is Gundam Breaker back? Well, let's dive in. The open network test gave us 21 mobile suits to play with, 3 quests, and bounty hunter mode with online options. While playing the game, it still feels like Gundam Breaker 3, but there are slight control changes. Instead of a light and heavy attack, the 2 attacks are mapped to your right and left hand, and now you can equip a different melee weapon for each hand, giving an odd but nice feeling to your swings. I didn't get much time to experiment, but I used left beam saber and right beam axe, giving fast swings, but every axe attack was a hefty, powerful chop. This also applies to ranged combat, but sadly the open network test didn't give us much to work with. We only got basically beam rifles and beam machine guns, but I'd like to see how double bazookas, multi-launchers, or just really big ass beam guns would stand up. Now next, it could just be the demo, them taking out features, limiting things for demo reasons, but even with the zaku claws equipped, it didn't look like claws or barehanded melee was available. The NPCs was available when you had the arms, but not claws. Again, maybe demo reasons, but it would be a shame if they weren't in the game. I feel like the fan favorites. I very much liked spinning pile driving enemies or power bombing them. As someone who loves amphibious mobile suits, the claws are a must have. Next change is the optional and EX skills, with the option acting similar to prior games but a different layout. You put an item on your guy, or it comes with the part you equipped, and you can now use said item. Missile, big ass sword, funnels, it's a cool concept. I personally love the grapple hook found on the Justice's shield. Thing was a blast to use, making comboing so much fun, and it could be used on terrain and big bosses to bring you towards them. As for EX, this is a big change. Prior, you had your EX skills, once used, they would go on cooldown. But now, it's a bit different. You have said skills, but they're tied to meter. You can hold 9 bars, building more as you fight, and each skill costs a certain amount. From what we had, simple EX attacks cost 1 bar, but there are some out there that cost 2 and even 3. This was an overall nice change. As long as you have meter to burn, you can keep using your EX skills. From heals, melee attacks, sending out funnels, or a timed speed boost power up. Just go crazy. You can start a combo with an EX skill and use it as much as you want in said combo as long as you have meter. This just wasn't possible in 3 since all the skills had their own separate cooldown and some were short but they were still long enough that they wouldn't come back in time. This was a nice change and I love this feature. And it makes me excited to see the final game and the much larger pool of skills, just seeing what they have in store. Moving to missions, story mode was locked so no word there. But for quest mode, it still felt like Breaker 3. You're in an area, kill everything, move on. In quest mode, once the area is cleared, they teleport you to the next stage, instead of 3 which you would walk to it. This could just be a thing specific to quest mode, so who knows. As for the areas, they visually look nice and it doesn't look like they just recycled it from previous games. And we do get some variety, not everything's just a flat battle arena, we have some elevations, some hill areas, and just things here and there. In the second quest, in the final fight, you fight a perfect grade Unleashed Gundam, and it's one of the bigger character fights, which are somewhat the same to Breaker 3. But a big thing I like is that the attacks are much more telegraphed now, having area effects showing when they're gonna hit. While still slightly telegraphed in 3, just sometimes you'll be fighting the boss and your character just explodes because their attacks do so much damage. But now you kinda just get a warning sign, which is nice. And also, if you're with 2 other buddies attacking, with all the shit that's happening, you cannot see a thing, so this just gives you a little bit extra insurance. Now for a personal gripe, we still have the stage bosses, and they still come out of the gunpla box, which is cool. I like seeing the artwork in the different size boxes, the grades, it looks neat. But in 4, the box materializes out of nowhere and the guys come out. However, in 3 it was so much cooler because the box would come out of the sky like a drop pod, open up and out comes them. It's a very small difference, but I personally think 3 is much cooler and I like it a lot more. Moving to the lobbies, here's a big change that I just love. Where in 3 it was a simple round area, you had everything you needed, and you were a pilot walking around while your mobile suit just stood there. It was neat, okay, nothing spectacular. But in 4, things are way different. Now you're in your mobile suit walking around, and it just feels so much better. Everything's much more lively, you have idle animations, you can emote, and seeing everyone's well-made gunpla or abominations walking around is so cool. As for the lobbies themselves, it reminds me sort of Monster Hunter, where we have a front desk that you accept the missions from, and all the CPUs, instead of palicos, the cat things from Monster Hunter, we have petite bear guys that just help you around and talk. And just to mention it now, this game has English voice acting in it, and it's not just the major cutscenes, even the small conversations with the petite bear guys are voice acted.
The event gallery is this way. It is currently closed.
While many things in the lobby are cut off due to demo reasons, if you're hosting a lobby, your gunpla is front and center as a statue, so you force everyone to see your really cool, nicely colored OC or your abomination against nature. But now, onto the real star of the show, the customization, where we're in for a treat. It's everything from 3, but now much more. Like I said, we get to equip 2 melee and 2 range, so you get more options there. But there's also a separate right and left arm, instead of them being a pair, giving more personality to the build. And also just with asymmetrical mobile suits, sometimes the right and left arms just look different, so if you favor one than the other, go right ahead. As for build parts, they still act the same. You can equip them, change their size, angle, and position. Once you equip them, you get to use them in game. But what they expanded on is where you can put them. If you want an anti-ship sword sticking out your foot, be my guest. But this editing goes for the main parts as well. You can now, for example, edit the head to scale it up or down, move it around, and change its angle. While you may think this is a joke tool, many mobile suits throughout Gundam are different sizes due to just technology change and them coming from different universes. In 3, when you equip big pieces with small ones, it looks odd, but now you can scale them properly and make them look more natural. So equipping G Gundam, Wing, or Late UC, which are some of the smallest mobile suits in Gundam, with anything else won't look stubby. So go right ahead, equip the 8 guy's body with the F91's arms, and you can now make it look natural. Kind of. Sort of. I think you get the point here. I do think many believe this, but the best feature in build mode is easily one of the best things they added in this game, and that's quick training mode. Why? Well, did you just finish your build and want to test it out? Well, no longer do you need to enter a mission, go into it, do your do, leave, go back in the build and make changes. Now you just tab over to training, do your do, and make changes if needed. This is so great and saves so much time. I absolutely love it. I just can't put it in words on how great this feature is. For those who've played Breaker before, you just know how much this rocks. While not as important but still pretty big, a good quality of life feature was instead of holding 900 of each piece, you can now hold 1,500. And for those who don't know, there is an inventory cap in Breaker, and once you go over it, you have to sell parts or get rid of them till you're under it, and it just gets an annoying loop of doing a mission, then you have to sell parts just to enter a next mission, which just wastes time. So raising the cap does help, but I do hope they add something that just makes getting rid of parts easier, since it was just such a pain in the ass in 3. So, anywho, there's definitely more that I haven't covered. I only had so much time, so maybe the changes start to show their cons when you have more hours in. Or maybe it just gets better. There's still plenty of more to talk about, and there's still plenty more that was taken out just for the demo, so I can't give my final say there. But I did overall enjoy the game. I was excited for this game when it was announced, was skeptical because of new Breaker, but still excited. But now I do have hope. I feel like Gundam Breaker is back. It's so nice to have it here. While we don't know what the full game has in store, I'll be waiting, and till then, Slothcakes here, happy building and hope to see you in the battlefield.